They lied to you. From the very first moment you showed a preference for silence over noise, for observation over participation, for reflection over celebration, the world decided there was something wrong with you. Teachers said it was shyness. Classmates called you weird. Society said you were broken. But none of that is true. The truth is far more uncomfortable. Loners are not defective. They are dangerously free. They are the last authentic thinkers in a world built on copies. They are the final silent resistance in an era of noisy obedience. And that, my friend, is terrifying. Deeply terrifying. We live in an age where noise is mistaken for relevance. Those who speak the loudest are the ones who get noticed. Those who are everywhere seem to matter more. Those who collect artificial connections are praised as socially healthy. Meanwhile, the introspective are labeled antisocial. The loners are accused of being depressed. The quiet ones are viewed with suspicion. But this carefully crafted narrative serves a very clear purpose: to exterminate mental autonomy, to turn individuals into a collective mass, to condition critical minds into doubting themselves until they surrender the act of thinking independently. And in this process, loners become enemies of the system, because they cannot be controlled. Carl Jung once said, "Loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being surrounded by people who cannot understand you." And what did society do with that truth? It dismissed it, because admitting that the loner may be the clearest mind among the blind is to admit that the entire social model is broken, that the cult of the collective, of constant noise, of permanent visible presence is a farce, and that those who dare step away from this circus of vanity are the only ones still capable of seeing the show for what it really is: a sick performance. That's why loners are dangerous. They can't be manipulated. They don't respond to the appeal of the crowd. They don't follow trends or fake outrage. They're not lined up to repeat the script of the day. They observe, they ponder, they choose. And that is power. Because in a world that screams nonstop, the one who can still remain silent thinks. And whoever truly thinks is a threat to the mechanisms of control. Have you noticed how society aggressively promotes constant social interaction? Schools teach that group work is always better. Popular culture romanticizes eternal friendships, happy crowds, endless parties. Social media turns being alone into a certificate of failure. What do you mean you don't have 1,000 followers? You'd rather stay home reading than go out to party? You don't post your entire life on Instagram? The subliminal message is loud and clear. If you are not connected to everyone all the time, you are a pariah, a mistake, a misfit. But this relentless push for socialization is not innocent. It's a tool of indoctrination, a strategy to dissolve individuality. The great minds of history, from Nietzsche to Schopenhauer, from Pascal to Kierkegaard, understood that deep thought demands solitude, that great truths don't emerge in noise, but in silence, that inner revolutions don't happen in the crowd, but in the intimate confrontation between the self and its own shadow. The loner is the one who, unafraid of facing this brutal mirror, rises with clarity, with lucidity, with authority. And that's exactly what makes him dangerous. He is a walking mirror, exposing other people's illusions just by existing. But the system cannot allow that. A lucid loner is a walking heresy. So he must be pathologized, psychologized, medicated, neutralized. They invent names, diagnoses, labels: social anxiety, atypical depression, avoidant disorder. They hand him pills to shut down thought, to sync his brainwaves with the masses. They offer distractions, entertainment, apps, forced company, all to prevent him from discovering the most dangerous truth of all. He is not broken. He is awake. And today, awakening is a revolutionary act. Yes, it's true that solitude can be hard, that silence can hurt, but it is within discomfort that powerful ideas are born. It is from friction with the void that authenticity emerges. And what is freedom? if not the courage to remain whole even as the world tries to break you. The real prison isn't isolation, it's conformity, and the loners are almost always the ones who refused to bend, who chose to be loyal to themselves rather than loved by the masses, who picked integrity over popularity. The price? Often it's misunderstanding, rejection, suspicion. But the reward? Oh, the reward is priceless. Clarity, freedom, inner strength, and a deep connection to something most people can't even imagine exists: their own soul. So if you feel out of place in this noisy world, know this. Maybe you're not the problem. Maybe you are the solution this world rejects because it cannot understand you. Maybe your silence is a scream more powerful than any rehearsed speech. Maybe your solitude is the last sanctuary of freedom on a planet colonized by distraction. Do not let them break you just because you refuse to fit in. Do not accept fabricated diagnoses from a sick society. Do not take as truth the judgment of people who've never dared to look inside themselves. The real revolution begins when you realize you don't have to be like them. That thinking differently is not a flaw, it's a privilege. That the loner's path is the path of the free, and that those who walk alone may take longer to arrive. But when they do, they don't have to share the glory with anyone. Now it's up to you. Stop asking for permission to be who you are. Wield your silence like a sword. Turn solitude into your shield. Claim your right to think, to feel, to exist outside the bubble. And if the world tries to silence you, smile. Because the fact that you bother them this much is proof that you're on the right path. If this message resonated with you, share it, not out of vanity, but because there are other loners out there who desperately need to hear exactly this. Truth sets us free. And today, your freedom might just be the beginning of someone else's liberation.